What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be finding out, do you really need all of this? Squatch bags are good, I don't know. So here's the idea for the video. I'm going to be playing a practice round here at Mead Olin, and I'm going to throw my normal shot, and then I'm going to follow it up by my most used mid-range in my bag, and that's the Element. And I'm going to see how different the scores are. This is a pretty long course, so there should be some difference. So a lot of holes, I would be throwing a fairway driver, sometimes even a distance driver. So the Gauntlet is going to be a tournament that's coming up this weekend. By the time you guys see this video, it's probably going to already have happened because it's going to be on Saturday. This is going to post on Sunday. It's a 2-round tournament. It plays one of my favorite courses in Kentucky, which is Mead Olin, and one of my, I want to say most hated, but it's really one of my unfavorites, and that's Muldrow. Muldrow's pretty rough. Just the course itself is pretty sketchy. There's a couple of bridges that are over like a 30-40 foot canyon in the earth. I would have loved to have done a practice round there, but there's not enough flat ground for me to set my tripod down to even film it. So I would have to have someone hang out with me and film. This is hole 1 at Mead Olin. You can't even see the basket now. The trees are grown up so much. It's actually behind this big tree in the middle. I'll kind of highlight on the screen around where the basket will be. But for our test today, I'm going to be throwing an Element for all the mid-range shots. Probably this Element is the most neutral in my bag, and that's kind of what I throw up to 300 feet, somewhere around there. But I'm going to be pushing it today to try to get it to compete with my fairway drivers and my distance drivers, trying to go 400 feet today. This hole is like 500 even, I think. 466 is what it says. Takes more than that to get there. Oh. If that had a flexed out, that would actually have been pretty good. Now I'm gonna try the Aura. This has almost replaced the Realm in my bag. I'm gonna still put it kind of on an ante in front of this tree to the left. That's in the swamp. Let's go see how we did. And then Anthony Barilla throws a Luna like 400 feet. It's just not fair, guys. Man, this is soaked. So my Element landed here. I'm probably gonna have to throw another Element on a little flip up just to get underneath this ceiling. Subscribe! It's gonna be a long putt. So my Aura landed here in the swamp, only about 50 more feet than my mid-range. And I actually don't have good footing here for a good shot. Just gonna be throwing an Element on a big Anheuser. So this is my mid-range only shot, kind of pulled too far to the right, and I had a low ceiling mid-range shot kind of up to the basket. Probably a 45, almost 50 foot putt here, a little bit uphill. We dunk this, we get a par. That's looking like a bogey, tap-in bogey. So now I'm looking at about the same, almost the same putt for par from my driver. It didn't land where I wanted it to either though. Oh, but I got par from it, so probably a 45 footer. But now we're on hole 2 at Mead Olin, and the battle is gonna be between the Assassin and the Element. The Element's gonna be my main mid-range that I throw for all my mid-range tests today. So normally what I throw here is a hyzer with an Assassin, but I can get an Element there if I push it and put enough hyzer on it to get to flip up to straight and still cut left. This hole is about it says 312. Pretty far for an Element, but my Assassin, most of the time I can get up there for a putt. Throw in the Element. The Element right now is shooting 1 over, and my higher speed drivers are shooting even. But the reason they're shooting even is I made a 45 foot putt. So it's really pretty much tie ball game. It's gonna be a long putt, but it punched where I wanted it to. Now I'm gonna throw a little high hyzer with this Assassin This is my flippier of the two, so I don't care to put a little more hyzer on it and let it flip up. That's the best shot I've ever thrown on this hole. Snuck through the trees. I don't know why I went Kermit the Frog there. Just snuck through the trees. And I've got like maybe a 20-foot putt. That's insane, guys. We may have a birdie look and be under par after 2 holes. Pretty happy with that. So you guys can see my Assassin sitting up there, nice and parked. Almost exactly where you want to be. Probably a 20-foot putt. This is my Element. Didn't do bad. I just didn't get any flip up out of it. And it's probably closer to 50-foot putt maybe. Almost impossible to make this putt. There's too much tree in the way. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to do. So the Element's lining up to be a par, but that Assassin, she's looking at the basket. See if I can't toss this putter in the basket. Ooh, now. Barely made it over the rim. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big steps. Turbo Assassin and the new Aura are beating out the Element by itself. Now the next hole is a mid-range only hole or a putter only hole. So since this is pretty much a mid-range only hole, I guess the rules would be that I'm going to throw 2 elements and I have to birdie with both of them for it to count for the mid-range. Oh, that's not a birdie. Ooh, that's a long birdie if it is. My new blank NXT Element. Try to throw it just flat and straight, I guess. That's looking a little closer to being birdie. Our first Element, it faded back. It's faded back a little too late. So now I've got to hop this tree, kind of elevator putt. Oh man. See if we can make a wide open putt from about 20 feet. Counts as a birdie for the drivers and still 1 over for the mid-ranges. I guess a more fair test would have been to throw a mid-range and then throw my driver on a 250-foot hole. Try to get a Assassin there maybe. They're doing some tree trimming work, something like that on the next few holes. So I'm gonna skip and go to hole 7. This is the next kind of like big hole anyway. This would be a big realm shot for me, and I'm gonna throw a mid-range and a realm, see if we can tie this game back up. This hole's 435 feet, quite a bit for a mid-range. I flipped over. So not enough hyzer on that Element. That's gonna leave us with a long upshot. See if I can get a realm there. So my Element landed here, which is actually not that bad. It's kind of just a stock hyzer with a Houdini. That should be pretty easy birdie. My realm, on the other hand, went a little farther, but it also got into some trouble. So what sucks about my realm shot is it punched in here. Woo, it really sucks. That's all thorns. Maybe I can make that putt. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but my Houdini from my mid-range touching the pole. My tee shot with the realm, we got into some trouble and I had to throw like a forehand roller with an Element just because I can't throw a forehand that far on a knee. So now we're looking at a pretty testy putt. We've got to go to the right of this tree, which is actually kind of in my line. So if I make this, we can stay. Too tight. Par from the mid-range. So that's a few holes out here at Mead Olin, practicing for a tournament, testing out if a mid-range could really replace every disc in your bag. Keep your whole bag, guys. At the end of the day, You always need to throw what you feel comfortable throwing. If it takes a fairway driver for you to throw 280 feet, then that's what you need to use on the hole. At the end of the day, you just want to have fun and be outside and play disc golf. Let me know what your favorite fairway driver and mid-ranges are in the comments. What's in your bag? Have a great day. Stay in the fairway, guys. Throw what you like. No judgment.